everyone. We're here today with Kyleigha Beckmann from Peace Through Trade, and we're very excited about this conversation. We're going to hear a lot about blockchain, a lot about making the world a better place for others, and all the things that are important to us here. I'm very excited to hear what Kyleigha is doing. Laura's here with me, and yeah, we're excited to get started. So for those who are meeting you for the very first time, can you give us a little bit of your background? And I know there's a lot that you've done, but can you go through that a little bit and tell us how you ended up in blockchain?
Sure, yeah. And I just want to say first, thank you so much for having me on, Lara and Kelly. It really is a pleasure to be here. It is near and dear to my heart, this project, and is really based on trying to uplift the quality of life for all. So thank you. So yeah, blockchain, how did this adventure begin for me? So my husband and I were serial entrepreneurs. We have our own family office. We've been a part of some amazing projects. And one of those projects was a project where we worked in Brazil and we helped shift legislation for the CBD industry. At the time, it was an illegal Schedule I narcotic. And there were families that were being persecuted for importing it for their children that were dealing with epileptic seizures. And they were being persecuted for drug trafficking, parents. And my husband was working in a publicly traded company in the States at the time. It was a CBD company. And these families were calling us, and they were from Brazil, and no one knew how to speak Portuguese. So here I was. I'm Brazilian. So I was able to communicate with them, and we found out very quickly what the landscape was like. And that, so with that, we entered into the Brazilian market, but by doing that, we had to support legislation. We had to shift the law. We did it in about 9 months, which is monumental for Brazil. I can tell you exactly how we did it, but it was really that's a story on its own. But it was really a life-changing experience. We lobbied, we shifted laws, we worked with Anvisa, we worked with the government, and we've really impacted that entire industry, especially in Central and South America, because from Brazil it kind of trickled out. And what we saw when we brought an industry from, a gray space, irregulated to regulated, the entire landscape shifted. Dominant groups in this space were no longer dominant. The licensed groups, the groups that followed the laws or pursued legal licensing to be in that industry, then prevailed and became the dominant groups in the space. We then, recognized we saw this happen in other industries. We saw it happen in the music streaming space. We all know of Napster, but they're no longer here with us today. There's other groups that pursued the legal licensing and went about it the legal way, and now they're the dominants, like iTunes and Spotify. We saw it happen in the alcohol space. Then, my husband and I were very intrigued with the blockchain space, and we think it's an amazing technology and what it really truly represents the future of finance. And we saw that it was currently in a gray space that was so in desperate need for regulation. And we could foresee that, as soon as regulation turns on, this entire market, this entire space is really going to have a huge shift. And so we got involved with Peace Through Trade about 5 years ago, pursuing, I want to say, a project that has working within the legal framework of Singapore. So we are regulated.
And why? And then, well, I guess I haven't. Well, or Laura, you can ask the question, but
no,
I mean, kind of
you look
answer.
You look inspired.
It's an interesting story, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we wanted a project that was going to provide equitable access of finance to everyone, but was not, in a scary project, not a scary place. When we started, we were a layer 2 token. We didn't have really a true understanding of the blockchain space. This was like 5 years ago. Okay. So we were, just getting involved. We were, buying and selling, and we got fished. we were devastated. We lost lots of money. We were, and we're like, oh my gosh, we can't do a project that doesn't have, the recourse and customer service. And, what can we do? Like, I can't do a project that there's no insurance. We have to do something that's going to actually help people. I can't recommend my project to my grandma the way it is right now. This is not going to work for me. This is not going to work for me. So we basically made a project that we would feel comfortable enough to have our parents involved in, something with security, something with that would protect people and consumers. We suffered a loss. I'm sure many, I've heard, if you're in crypto, you've been, robbed, you've been phished, all of those things. But why? Why does it have to be that way? No. And we believe that the crypto, the blockchain industry is evolving, it's maturing, and it really desperately needs to be regulated. And with regulation, it will bring security. It also will bring it'll bring industry. It'll allow big groups, venture capital to come in and invest.
Now, how did you come up with the name? That's what I was going to ask.
Peace Through Trade. So our project is incubated at university groups in Southeast Asia. And so it's been a project, it's been evolving. And one of, we've studied the work of Edmund Burke. Are you familiar with the quote, "All that it requires for evil to exist is for good men to do nothing"?
I have heard different versions of that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the same gentleman that basically talked about how to dispel the drums of war through peace or through trade and cultural exchange. And so with that, back in the 1700s, he was working with the British Parliament and supporting them, and basically proved to them that if they can surpass the volume of trade, then they'll make less money on war. They make more money with trade than they would with war. So with his work, he really helped the British Parliament uplift the quality of life of all people. They, a lot of the wars were, I want to say, resolved, and trade elevated the quality of life. So he basically proved the concept, essentially. And so we took that concept, and we've basically, with blockchain, really there are rails for trade around the world, there are rails for people being able to transact freely. You don't need to go into a bank. You don't have to pay to have an account. You don't have to, there's not very large fees depending on the network you're working with, but with our network, it's extremely inexpensive, and all you need is a mobile phone and to upload your ID. So it is KYC ML, and that is so that there's the protection, and it also allows for the consumer to go in and out of the traditional banking system, and it follows the regulatory framework. So there is the space of the blockchain space that exists right now is, anonymous, and there's a place for that. But there's also an entire market for people that don't necessarily want to be anonymous or need to be anonymous because for whatever reason, and they want the insurance and they want to go in and out of the banking system, and they just want the technology that it's going to be very inexpensive and the transactions are very quickly. Like if you try to send a Swift wire to Africa, it could take you 2 weeks. It's a good one. I mean, if it's a good amount of money. So it's the technology that will allow the trade to happen with ease, that will uplift and really prove the concept of peace through trade, essentially. It's the evolution of banking tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And that takes me to my next question. So you mentioned a couple of things there about, the differentiation of the PTT blockchain. So apart from that, how does it differ from other layer 1 blockchains? And, in terms of your mission, the design of it, could you go a little bit into that?
Sure. Yeah. So our mission is, we do focus on humanitarian goals right now. Our goal is to help get equitable access to finance to all, to uplift the quality of life so that they can then afford to care about the environment. Really, that's, we want to live on a beautiful planet, and that everyone can enjoy in all countries. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. We want everyone to have the same access to finance. So that's our goal and our vision and our dream. It's very inexpensive. It does allow CPU mining, so you don't have to invest in an i6 server system to mine, and that you can just do it on your laptop computer. The blockchain has AI integrated with it, so that that's also very different. And that also allows then, and what the AI does is it allows for load balancing. So it controls, like if there is a a supercomputer that comes on board with mining, it will still load balance the rewards. So no one can dominate the rewards based on the strength of their, computing power. So yeah, those are, I want to say, the main differences. We're extremely economical. We're extremely fast. We are sustainable in that we're fully solar powered at the moment. When we get, I'm going to give you a comparison of energy usage. So if we want to compare apples to apples, so let's say Bitcoin right now, there's about 8 million miners users. It uses about 16 nuclear power plants worth of energy a year right now. If you were to compare Peace Through Trade, when we have 8 million miners, we would be using approximately 0.8 of a nuclear power plant. So, energy usage, and there's arguments of why that energy usage is so important with Bitcoin, and we understand. And that's why Bitcoin is valued, its value is based on that energy usage. And we get that and we understand that concept. But that's really not sustainable. It doesn't also allow equitable access. How can a developing nation afford to, invest in creating a nuclear power plant to then invest in a, Bitcoin mining facility to be able to participate? It's not going to happen for them. So it doesn't give them the opportunity to participate in a meaningful way like other maybe nations could afford, like the United States or, first world countries. So it's just different use case, same technology done in a different way that allows other groups, other people, really people of all walks of life, to be able to participate and also receive mining rewards.
So in times like these, I mean, I know there are always bad things happening in the world, but always good things too. But which I always like to note that it's not all bad. But when things are happening like now, and war is happening, how can blockchain help?
Right. Yeah. I know this situation with the war in Iran it's really devastating. And, more than ever, we need peace. I feel like our project could definitely be a tool used, when traditional systems are down and people are not able to access their bank accounts, they can use systems like blockchain to support their ability to transact and continue life. I'm going to say a quote actually by Albert Einstein that I felt very relevant, is the cost of war is something none of us can afford. So this is the quote. I know not with what weapons world war will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. And for me, that's like all telling, World War III. If this can escalate to something that's, a worldwide war, which God forbid, doesn't happen. Hopefully we don't wipe ourselves off the face of the planet and we're using sticks and stones. But technology like blockchain definitely would mitigate any, groups suffering from not being able to use pay rails and systems that give them access to the outside world. It allows them to continue life as normal while they're going through these hard times, essentially.
So you mentioned the importance of payment rails and essentially as well remittances for third world countries to be able to send money back and for that to be more economical and how PTT blockchain helps that. Are there any beyond payments, any other use cases for the real world that you see that are applicable for times of crises?
Absolutely, yeah. Logistics, blockchain is great for tracking logistics, or like materials or food, even getting to people that need it and seeing that it actually got there. You can see the blockchain is great because it allows true transparency. So if you need to track where things are going, if they've arrived, if they haven't, there's things that you can do to with QR codes, for example. That's just one way. I'm sure there's many ways that you can utilize how that's connected, but you can really see that the end user gets what they need. We've been talking to a few different groups, like I won't name names, but like World Food Programs or shipping logistic programs that are humanitarian projects for us to potentially facilitate pilot programs and supporting them with logistics. So absolutely, there's many different use cases, especially logistics is one. Keeping records of things is other, which obviously it's on the blockchain, it's there forever. So that's also very important. It can be very important if you need your like diplomas or things like that. They're lost for whatever reason. You have a place where you know that it's going to be there, things like that. They're great use cases.
Right. You don't have to worry about losing your birth certificate or, when it's on the blockchain, which I've done.
Right. Yeah. My grandma had an issue as well. So my grandma, she went to university a long time ago, and the university burned down, and she lost all of her like credentials as she went there. Yeah. So that actually happened.
Yeah.
So if it's an NFT, if it's on the blockchain, then it lives on forever, right? In the different copies around the world or around wherever the blockchain is.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's many different ways, and you never know. A natural disaster, a hurricane, an earthquake, a fire. When you have a technology that where it's permanent, you can solve these types of issues for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And from your experience, why do we need more women in blockchain? And not just at the events. One of our big things that we do is, help women get access to events and taking women to different conferences and things like that. But just in general, people like, I always use my mom as an example, like everyone, why do we need more women in blockchain?
Well, I mean, women are the shoppers, women are the buyers, women are, men will bring home the bacon, they say, right? And the woman will go and make a home out of the abundance that's brought home. So they need to feel comfortable using these systems. So we need their input. We need to know what works for women. We need to also, men and women, we function differently, obviously, where I feel like women can be very heart-led, not always, of course, but I definitely want to say that I'm very heart-led in my endeavors and everything that we do with my company. I'm always thinking about, I'm leading with my heart. But there's a role for everyone, right? We definitely also want to have the analytical mind that's the financial mind that's thinking about the finance. So, and the other components, and the technical mind that's thinking about, the technical parts. But it really is like a happy marriage between all of those different areas that's really going to bring a solution that works for everybody. And so I think those are important reasons why women need to be involved. Otherwise, we'll be copying hashtags forevermore, copying and pasting the wallet address numbers that are like, you know what I mean? We need systems that are more usable. in the blockchain space. That's my opinion.
What's it been like for you? Because I mean, I know none of us, like, we could have ever imagined that we would be, working in blockchain or doing things in blockchain because it didn't exist when we were younger. But, what has the experience been like for you?
Oh, I feel very well received by the industry. I'm not the CTO of the company, so I'm not as technical. I understand things at a high level. I'm an entrepreneur. I've funded the company. I hire, I fire, I run the H&R, I run, operations, I support with operations. I understand blockchain, like as a maybe more than a consumer now that I've been so immersed in the industry for the past 5 years, and I've really, dug into all of the nuances. But I lost my train of thought. Horrible.
I was basically asking you.
I was basically horrible at these live calls. Oh my god! Hopefully, whoever's watching is fully entertained right now, because I am.
We all do it. I do it too. But yeah, I was basically asking you. What your experience has been like. What is like a favorite moment, or anything like that?
This is definitely going down on the record. This moment right now, going down on the record as being one of my most favorite / embarrassing moments ever. But that's okay. I'm not attached to my ego in this project. I have no ego. I'm not here to show how whatever smart I am. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to share a mission and what we're really trying to do. So I'm not attached. I'm just here to share. As hard as it can be for me, like psychologically, to speak publicly sometimes, I'm working on getting over that. And I'm really happy to be here speaking with you today on this call.
Oh, we're happy that you're here. Yeah, I did an interview, I think it was last week, and a lot of times people ask me questions and they think I'm an expert, but I don't consider myself an expert at all, because it changes every day. Blockchain, technology, everything changes. I just don't even feel like that, but I know some things, but yeah, I'm not building it. I'm not in the,
it's very different
coding.
when you're tech brain behind everything. We can have, it's a very different brain. So I bring the heart component, and operations and funding and my experience in lobbying and that specific past experience has really affected this endeavor, because we are really focused on wanting to go the regulated route, as we feel like that's what's so desperately needed. We're really like carving out a new part of this, a new market in this industry. It's really a project for the non-crypto people. People that are in crypto right now are in it because they like the way it is. But what we're trying to create is a project that for people that haven't gone into crypto because they're afraid of it, because they don't want to get phished, they don't want to lose their money, it's so technical, they don't understand it. So we're simplifying it, making it a safe place, making it usable, that's our goal.
Yeah.
So it's a different angle, different use case, different purpose as well. We're very humanitarian focused in supporting equitable access and our inevitable goals, so that we can, hopefully inspire peace through trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we end it there? No. That's amazing. So my question was actually going to be, Kyleigha, about, what does success look like for Peace Through Trade in the next 5 years? So how do you envision going forward?
I mean, success would be, specifically for Peace Through Trade, would be to get it in the hands of as many millions of people possible, to, create programs where we could support people that don't have access to cell phones, maybe even, and get them a cell phone so that they could then have access to a worldwide global system that allows them to facilitate trade through, commerce. you know, they could be selling goods, selling services, selling whatever it is, but it allows them the ability to have equitable access to finance where they might not have had access. And then inevitably uplifting the quality of life. And then our very, at the heart of our goal is really to see then, a flourishing planet, people of all walks of life from all countries living a much better quality of life, getting what they need. They're not worried about feeding their children tonight. They're not in fight or flight. They're not in war-stricken areas. They're not living in poverty, and they can then afford to care about the environment because they're not suffering, because at the end of the day, we want to protect Mother Nature and our planet, and that's why our project is sustainable, and it's been structured the way it is so that it is not taxing the environment the way maybe legacy projects have been to date, but it's more of a tool used by humanity to support humanity, to uplift the quality of life for humanity.
Wonderful. Kelly.
So where can people find you? So if they want to learn more and they want to get involved, they want to use Peace Through Trade, how can they find you?
Well, we're working on our new website. It's called peacethroughtrade.com. But right now you can also find us on Instagram, all the same, Peace Through Trade. And as well as X, we're just getting out there for the first time we really just started. I want to say it's been about 6-7 months now that we've just kind of starting to get out there, and, we're just testing the water, testing the market, testing the angles, sharing our concept, sharing the technology. So we're right at the very beginning of our journey, and we're always looking to collaborate with groups and people that have similar dreams and visions for humanity. Other blockchains, however they can support, we would be more than thrilled to work with other people. And just we're trying to just shift, just have a paradigm shift on how things have been done, and moving towards something that really is a treasure and a tool that can be used by all is our goal. So if anybody that's inspired by that mission, inspired by what we're trying to do, any humanitarian project that needs support, that wants to needs a pilot program, we're excited to support as well, because we want to show our use case. We want to show how we can support those groups. Please reach out because we are excited to dive into what's really needed in real world cases, and figure out how we could be of support. So please, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming in today. I know you're super busy, and I was happy to, learn more, about Peace Through Trade. And like I was saying, saw you at Blockchain Futurist Conference.
Yeah, that was fun.
In Florida. And we had fun there. And and also I can't wait to see it grow, because I know it will.
God willing, I think our mission and our values, are, I think, what's going to carry us. I think, and we just want to work with people that feel the same and want to help uplift those same visions and values and sustainable projects and all of that. So it's really great to be here with you too today. Thank you so much for the platform and for giving me a voice and sharing, despite me feeling as the nerves that I feel. And
I also have a lot of ideas, so people I could connect you with, because I know that Laura has too, because I see her brain moving. But I have a lot of ideas and things. So
amazing. We're in need of help. We're just getting started. So any way that anyone wants to come in and have real impact, we're hoping to be that. We're hoping to support that change. So Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.